The Gopher Coaches Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union.
How's our top down here? Elite, man, that's what it is.
This is the Gopher Coaches Show.
Welcome into the Gopher Coaches Show. I'm Ahmad Hicks alongside KFAN's Justin Gaard and head men's basketball coach Niko Medved. So, Coach, some interesting things have happened since the last time we talked. A big upset win versus Michigan State. We'll talk about that momentarily. But first, let's get your thoughts on the Maryland game. You guys were in it all the way down to the wire, and it just slipped away late, it felt like.
Yeah, you know, I thought that was, and I never want to take away from our opponent. I mean, every game is difficult. Every team's got talent. It's kind of like the NBA, right? Like, you know, maybe teams aren't playing as well, but every team has talent at this level. They're very well coached. I just didn't think we came out with the mindset we needed. Knew it was going to be a close game, and unfortunately at the end we just couldn't quite do enough to finish it off. And Kid made a couple of great plays, but you know, we didn't put ourselves in position to win. So it's disappointing we couldn't build off, you know, our biggest win of the season. But that's life in the Big Ten.
I did want to talk about that because you've been in a lot of leagues, and because most people will look at standings and they'll say, I'm sure some teams are going, how did we lose to the Gophers at home, or how did this happen? Where does the Big Ten in the leagues that you've gone up, you know, kind of stack up when it comes to the depth 1 through now, I guess 18?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. It's as good as I've ever been around, the best, and I think in today's landscape it's even more, you know, pronounced that way. And like I said, I had a coach describe it to me, I don't know, about a couple months ago. They said, Coach, it's like you're playing in the NBA right now, the college version of the NBA, meaning maybe there's some teams whose records aren't as good, but everyone has talent. Everyone's well coached. On any given night, anybody can beat anybody. And you're seeing a lot of close games. You saw it this weekend, too. Purdue and Oregon went down to the wire. USC and Penn State went down to the wire. We've went down to the wire with just about everybody. So that's life. And ultimately, if you want to have a great season, you got to find a way to win those games.
Speaking of finding a way to win those games, another great game at the barn. Entering that game versus Michigan State, you guys had 2 ranked wins, 2 court stormings. You added a third after that one. I want to take you guys behind the scenes and give you a look at what it was like building up to that contest and the moments after the victory. Take a listen.
You know it, man. You've heard the drill before, man, but you're in a fight right now and you know what's going to happen. What do? You throw the what? First, throw the first freaking punch. We know what their mentality is, but they're going to see ours tonight.
We have Wednesday night college basketball in the Twin Cities. The University of Minnesota playing host to Michigan State University. It's big-time Big Ten basketball from historic Williams Arena. Awesome at top of the key, a little stop and start move. Doubled, so the kick out to Crocker. Open 3 straight on his own net. Looking toward the paint, spinning. Needs some help. Oh, nice move, and a layup is good. And coming back with it was Ugachukwu for Michigan State with 4 to shoot to Pierce. He lost it, and it's stolen away. Advantage already, 4 turnovers. Kick out Tyson, straight on 3. Bullseye!
Keep your focus defensively, right? Yes. Closeouts and bad decisions. Active hands. Keep your focus. Play after play after play.
To Crocker Johnson out front. Back to Tyson. Leave him open. He'll take the 3 and hit the 3. Crocker Johnson, an open 3. Got it! That's his 3rd hit of the night. A little bit of a lane. Gets into the lane. Layup. Yes! And 1! Isaac Osama's 2nd field goal of the night. Not a Durkin with a jab step. Steps left. Open 3. Gone! Bobby Durkin! Back to Fears with 5. With 4. Way out front. In the corner now. Here is Ward with 1 second. Throws up a shot. Short. No good. Not sure he knew the shot clock was winding down. And the Gophers will go to halftime leading by 11. 32-21. What a half of basketball for the home team.
Second half defense, bro. The offense gonna come. We see that. The way we win this game is defense.
We've been here before. We've been here before, okay? Tonight, we dig in even harder. You're going to have more in the tank. 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 It matters what we do. Everybody got me? It matters what we do. It doesn't matter what they do. Tonight's our night. Everybody got me? Let's freaking go.
Durkin a 3. They left him open, and down it goes. Gives out to Crocker Johnson. 3 ball. Yes! Awesome on on the left side. He hops out for Grove. Now back to Ahmad. Ball fake. Wants to drive it. Does. Takes it in. Reverse layup. Good. Now to Tyson. Wide open three. Got it! King Tyson hits the triple and the Gophers lead by a dozen. 55-43, their largest lead of the night.
Take about 30 seconds here. Catch your breath. Everybody got me? Catch your breath right here.
There's no tricks to this, right? And that's what we're going to continue to do. We're not going away. We're not going away.
Now Tyson has it. Goes up with a shot. Yes, and one. That is stick-to-itiveness. Ingenuity. Takes it to the elbow. Taps down his man. Shot off the window. Yeah. He got it. Reynolds right to the rim. Layup. Good. They did not have a chance to stop him. He's up to 9. He's got it now. Lob down low to Reynolds. Working on Scott. Spinning shot. Yeah! And one! Reynolds flexing to the crowd. Ahmad toes the line. Monster free throw for the sophomore from Cherry, Minnesota. Free throw up and down. Big one. 2-possession game. 75-71. 4-point lead. 13 seconds. Spears into the paint. Got in the air. Gives to Kohler. Step back three. No. Rebound Reynolds. And he got fouled. And the barn is starting to feel an upset. Lobs it down to Osama behind the defense. Ball game. It's over. The Gophers have stunned 10th-ranked Michigan State. Minnesota leads it wire to wire. It's a court storm at the barn. Gophers 76. Michigan State 73.
Go, come on, boy.
Let's freaking go!
So a very memorable night at the barn. And after the game, this is what Tom Izzo had to say. He said, give them credit. I think that he's a very, very, very good coach, talking about Niko here. I loved him when he was not here. Out west, I loved him there. I know Dave Thorson real well, and I thought they did a hell of a job. They cut hard. They played hard. They got every loose ball, and that bothers me a lot. So when you hear a coach say something like that, what comes through your mind?
I mean, I appreciate that. I'm glad that, we're starting to gain respect, from people around the league. And but listen, that's every coach at this level. They all are terrific. They know what they're doing. Everyone's well prepared. I joked before the game, that maybe we could rely on Michigan State and Coach Izzo's youth and inexperience and maybe lack of preparation, just trying to be funny. But obviously, he's one of the best to ever do it, if not the best. And the sustained success this program has had is remarkable. So, listen, it never. I don't ever take it for granted I get to go and coach against people like that and at that level. And so, yeah, it means a lot to come out with a victory against a guy like Coach Izzo.
That's kind of where I wanted to go, because I know as just a fan, I mean, I was an 8th grader when Tom Izzo started at Michigan State. As we can see, I'm an old man who's graying right now. You were in your last year as a student manager, I think, in his year 1. We're talking about 95, 96 and the success that they have. So for me, beating Michigan State always feels different.
Yeah.
Because of him. What about for you, just as seeing him on that sideline? Every win's great, obviously, but it just feels like extra when it's Michigan State.
100%. And I mean, when I was there too, Judd was still there, and Tom was the assistant. That's how far back we go. But again, every year Michigan State's right there. They're one of the predominant, if not the predominant team throughout the years in the Big Ten. And actually, that's my first time ever competing against Coach Izzo. And somebody asked, have you ever done that before? And I said, I've never played them on purpose. You know what I mean? Like when you look at their teams. And so this is the first time, you have to play them in the Big Ten. And so to come out with a win was pretty special.
Coach, what can you say about Langston's leadership? I noticed a moment right before halftime where he huddled all the guys up and he gave them a little pep talk before going down into the locker room. What does that moment mean for this team?
He's such a catalyst, an X factor for our team. Like when he's really good and he's emotionally charged and into it and being a great two-way player for us, it just changes, who we are as a team. And so I thought he was terrific all night long. He took on the challenge of guarding fears. Thought he did a great job of staying calm, with all the shenanigans going on the court, and didn't get too caught up in the emotions of that. And then obviously, down the stretch, he made some huge offensive plays. And then to see that too, of just leading the charge at halftime and in the huddles and all those things, is just huge for our group.
More big minutes for all 5 starters. That's no coincidence, right? That's no surprise at this point in the season. I'm curious, at halftime, we just saw that you mentioned tonight's going to be different. Tonight's going to be our night. What was the difference? Like, how did you land the plane there, especially with all those guys playing big minutes?
I mean, you just sensed our guys. I mean, they knew there were no choices as far as what it was going to take to get the job done. And so I thought they were going to find a way to have that extra resolve and fight they needed. Obviously, it helped us getting up 16, so we could get to the finish line there in those last couple of minutes. But, again, I just really felt that the guys were going to have a great mentality. We had been there before, and just how could we find a way to just dig a little bit deeper and find a way to just make a few more plays and outlast the group, and ultimately that's what we did.
Coach, what's the most frustrating part? You have a big win like that, the momentum is high, the energy is high around the barn, and then you come back out the next game and can't capitalize. What's the most frustrating part about all of that?
There's so many things that go into that. I think the reality is when you coach, you're never going to have your A game every night. Nobody does. That's not the way it goes. And sometimes, when you don't have your fastball, so to speak, can you still find a way to win those games? Sometimes it's hard. You come off the Michigan State game. You're coming into that game on Sunday. There was a lot going on with that game, too, with our Ski-U-Mah Strong event, and there's a lot of emotions that go into it. And for whatever reason, we were kind of emotionally flat. And maybe some of that's to be expected, but you got to find a way to dig deep again and pull it out. And so that was disappointing, to see. I still thought in that second half somehow we were going to still find a way to get out of there and escape with a win, and it's disappointing that we didn't. Our group, we just don't have that kind of margin for error, and that's just what it is. And I think we know that. But that's life in the Big Ten. I think it's a great time for us to have the bye week here, and hopefully we can respond on this West Coast trip.
Some good learning lessons for the crew right there. All right, now we have to burn one of our TV timeouts. But when we return, we have a special guest joining us. And no, it's not a player. It's someone who helps instruct them and helps get them better. We'll speak with Brian Cooley, the assistant coach, on the other side of the break. Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show. Ahmad, Hicks, Justin Gaard, Niko Medved, and assistant coach Brian Cooley joining us for the first time this season. Coach, thanks for joining the set. I guess let's give us your thoughts about Minnesota, your first year here, and how it's going for you.
I mean, I love it here, like the city, the university, the whole state. I'm an upper Midwest guy from Nebraska, so a lot of this is home and very familiar to me.
What's it been like with the transition, going from Colorado State, following Niko here, and getting this program up to speed?
It's been a whirlwind. Very exciting. Like I came with Coach the first night, the day after we lost in the second round of the NCAA tournament, so it's gone so quick. It seems like that was forever ago, but at the same time, it's been exciting. Every day we're trying to build the program the way Coach wants it, and we're getting there little by little.
Coach, it's a small world in coaching. So Dave Thorson is with you at Colorado State. He leaves to come here to coach at the University of Minnesota. You hire Coach Cooley, Niko. Take us through that process a little bit, because now you're all on the same staff. But what did you know about Coach Cooley before you hired him?
Well, I think you're always, when you're a head coach, you're always looking around the country, and you're looking at programs that are highly successful, people who you really respect and are doing things the right way. You're using common friends and contacts in the business. And, Brian has done a terrific job, with Coach Nagy at, South Dakota State, Wright State. They were winning at a high level, recruiting at a high level, doing things the right way. And so somebody that we had our eye on. And yeah, when Coach Thorson left to come back here, Brian was one of the guys we had our eye on, and, came in, we gave him the job, and it's just been instrumental with us here this last several years of all our success at Colorado State, and has been huge for us here hitting the ground running.
Brian, do you wish that you knew that they had their eye on you when you had to fly out to Fort Collins with the scouting reports and the workout that you had to put through? It sounds like it was a pretty strenuous job interview for you.
Coach put me through the grind. Every subsequent hire, I don't know if anybody had to do that, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I thank Coach Thorson every day for leaving so I can get on Coach Medved's staff. But it's kind of the same way with me. Like, I wasn't going to leave for just anywhere. I had a ton of respect from the outside. We didn't know each other personally, but the kind of guys he recruits, the way he ran his program, that was really attractive. So I was very fortunate, to even get my foot in there with Coach.
Brian, what were those moments like? So you talked about that loss in the second round of the tournament, then getting here. Jalen Crocker Johnson was one guy who was with you guys in Colorado. You got him here. How important was that for you guys to get this program headed in the right direction?
I think it was very, very important. Just Jalen's the kind of kid that off the court, the high character, doing things the right way, how important basketball is to him, but then even on the court, the way he plays. He's everything we want Minnesota basketball to be. So him knowing what Coach expects, the standard, the expectations, him knowing that, kind of bringing that here has helped a ton.
And what has it been like, obviously, to have him stay healthy? But this year has probably not gone as you intended it to, right? In August and September. And I remember Niko saying, hey, we have who we have. It's our job to figure out how to get the best. How have you as a staff tried to follow that lead?
Well, I think none of us are used to losing. Like we've been in a lot of close games. We found ways to get over the hump in previous season, but that's just part of the deal. We knew the ebbs and flows, and the Big Ten is such a tough gauntlet, and the margins are so thin. So, Coach is great. Like, he's the most competitive coach I've ever been around, and some people wouldn't realize that because he does such a good job of handling losses with the team, whether it's after a really good win, a really tough loss, anything in between. To get our guys emotionally ready to play the next game, he's as good as it gets. So we follow that lead.
Coach, for you mentally, how important is it to have a guy like Brian on your staff, someone that you know and that you trust and can bounce ideas off of quite a bit?
Well, massive. I mean, we have a high level of belief in what we do and how we do things. And again, he knows everything inside and out, recruiting, how we play, the things that have been successful, the way we've had to adjust throughout the years, knowing what works and what doesn't. And so to have him come here, like you said, day one, and just be able to help hit the ground running. As a head coach, you've got so many things going on. Yep. I always say this is a people business. And, when you have really good players who are really good people and really good assistant coaches and support staff who are high character, really good people, they make you look like you know what you're doing. And that's the key to all this. And so having a guy like him to be able to come and be able to hit the ground running like that has been awesome.
All right, we ready to go deep? We ready to really unpeel the end? Okay. How different would your life be if you actually enjoyed teaching second grade gym class as a student teacher when you thought, maybe I'm going to be a high school teacher and a high school coach? But apparently second grade gym was the cutoff, and you said, I got to pivot.
Yeah, and I have a ton of respect. I have a family full of educators, so I have a ton of respect for those people. And Coach knows my patience sometimes goes up and down, so you can imagine my patience with a group of second graders. They weren't listening to anything I said. They were just running all around me. So from day two on, as a student teacher, I was looking for a graduate assistant spot.
So that'll
be a lot different. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. For you guys, what's been the toughest part of the college landscape and the way it's changed and the way that maybe you guys once coached growing up compared to now with NIL and the transfer portal and all that?
I think when I first started coaching, you could just count on if you had a group of freshmen, sophomore, junior, you're going to have those guys no matter what. But I think the good thing is, like Coach always says, we still get to choose who we're going to recruit. We can still recruit a high-level person, high-level player, and somebody that's committed to the program. So the retention and continuity is still a thing with us. It's just all about getting the right, like Coach said, it's a people business, getting the right people in the door.
And I'm sure you know that Minnesotans, we love Minnesotans, and that's an important piece. I know that you guys were just watching some Minnesotans that you've got signed to play next year, but just even at South Dakota State when you were recruiting, I assume a little bit at Wright State as well, you had a big presence here in the state. So what stands out about Minnesota kids in your past?
Yeah, we had several players when I was at South Dakota State, several really good players from Minnesota. I think just I think the talent level, people wouldn't know that, and now people are starting to realize it. The talent level is pretty amazing considering the population. I also think the coaching and the way that the teams play growing up, I think the players play the right way. They're skilled, they're smart, kind of the guys that we naturally are attracted to, the skilled, smart, tough players. There's a lot in the state.
Coach, I'm putting you on the spot here. Under 30 seconds, give me your best recruiting pitch to a prospect that you guys want here on this campus.
Well, I think playing for this guy, that we're going to do things the right way. We're going to play a fun style. We've attracted NBA-level talents, not only attracted it, but developed it too in our past stays at Colorado State. So the proof is in the pudding of playing the right way, winning at a high level, and the potential to have a long professional career.
Well, we appreciate you joining us today on the set, Coach. And you guys heard them. All the recruits watching this show right now, come here. This is just the beginning for the Gopher men's program. We'll be right back. We'll see you on the other side of the break to preview the West Coast trip the Gophers are about to take part in.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show.
All right, unfortunately, we only have a couple of minutes left with Coach Niko Medved. So, Coach, with that being said, you're about to take part of a West Coast trip, headed to Washington first. Thoughts on that and how your team will be able to handle all those travel?
Well, yeah, I think it'd be good for us maybe to get out on the road, together for an extended period of time here. It'd be interesting for me to be back in Seattle. That's kind of where I was, last March where we played the NCAA tournament. My girls still don't like Maryland, even though all those players are different in coach. But it'll be good for us to go out there and challenge ourselves as part of being in this league. I know Coach Sprinkle. I coached against him, in the Mountain West, and I've known Dana too for years, who's a Hall of Fame level coach. So another test to test ourselves against some great programs, and I think there's still a lot at stake, for all these teams here as we go down the stretch. Yeah,
it's a long trip. I always say the West Coast teams, I think, probably have it worse. They have to do this stuff all the time. We make a big deal about the one time we go out there, but it is a challenge because it does feel like you're on the road a lot. So how do you kind of monitor? Are we doing too much? Are we doing enough? How do we keep everybody fresh?
I think, some of it is every team's a little bit different. Every situation, you have to be willing to take stock of kind of what's going on in the feel of your team right now. I think, going out there for the first game, that's pretty straightforward, but it's kind of like how do you manage, those days in between. But I look at it as an opportunity. It's kind of like, hey, we're together, on the road. We've got time to maybe not just get better at basketball and connect, but even just spend time with each other, that way. So I think it could be really, really beneficial for us, and I'm looking forward to it.
Coach, as we pop up this final graphic, looking at the next 5 games that you have left, we have about 45 seconds left in the show. What's your message to your team right now about still having a chance to accomplish their goals they set out to accomplish at the beginning of the year?
Thinking about that, we take a couple days off here, and I think there's a lot to play for. Obviously, we're going to play in the Big Ten tournament. Do we want to, avoid playing on Tuesday and get that first game by? I think that's huge. We want to win as many games as we can, finish as high as we can in the Big Ten. There might still be an opportunity for some kind of postseason play. That new Crown tournament is really cool. That they've done, and so I think there's a lot to play for. And this group wanted to be part of somebody that changed the trajectory of Gopher basketball, and I think they're starting to do that. The fans who've watched us play, seeing they're getting the most out of themselves, but there's a lot more to do here at the end of the year.
But we appreciate you, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for the next show.
Thanks.
All right, guys. See you later.